Hello, this is Artsy Wisdom. My name is Diane. Thank you for coming by. I really appreciate all of my new subscribers, and I just hit 3,000. Yay. Um, it goes up and down sometimes, so it may not stay there, but very happy about that. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for getting me there. Um, yeah. So I am going to do some more political readings. I had some questions from viewers, so that's what I'm going to focus on. Um, Somebody in response, there was a bunch of Elon Musk questions. So I'm going to look. Somebody had asked about him wanting to be president, if he was going to have an aneurysm. Not that it's funny, but, and if he took money from Russia or Saudi Arabia for Twitter. A couple of viewers asked about that. Um, Also, people wanted to know if Vance and Walz will have a debate, a vice presidential debate, and if Vance is helping Trump more or is Walz helping Harris more. I thought that was an interesting question, so I'm going to do that. And someone remarked about the San Francisco homeless, because in my one video, I had mentioned in my viewing of California, I saw the two levels, the wealthier elite people in the tech, and then the homeless, more impoverished people down here, and there are two worlds. This viewer commented very nicely, but saying how we need to check on the statistics now, because it looks like she said that they're really getting rid of a lot of homeless people and things are looking really better. I looked and I read an article, and what I read was that they're really cleaning up the streets, really in the major public areas, and people and the business owners are happier store. And that's just the reality of it. Not that, I used to work at a homeless resource center for youth. I volunteered there for several years. It's a very complicated issue, very complicated. And these are kids under 25 that are homeless. Lots of addiction, but also come from a family of serious dysfunction, LGBTQ people who were expendable by their family. There's just a lot. So it's really a hard problem. It's complex. But going back to San Francisco, they are working on it. They put in millions of dollars for new facilities, new shelters, new individual homes. And they're still continuing to do that. What I did read, though, is that they are shifting. They're shifting some of these homeless to these particular shelters or new housing facilities, which is good. But they're basically moving, I would say, many of them out of the public view. So that's a big part of it. I think a tiny fraction have become, unhoused or housed. I think they are doing what they can. The city of San Francisco, they say it's still increasing slightly, but it's just different. It's the way it's organized, which I'm fine with. I'm glad, because homeless people are human beings. It's just so ridiculous. The average price of San Francisco is like $1.2 million. And who has that money? So I think it's they're doing a lot better. So whoever commented, I agree. It's just the vision that I had with this different world, high-end elite tech, people with a lot of money, and the people on the lower spectrum. And that can be any city, but I feel it's more pronounced in San Francisco. And if I think about going in, how it's going to go to the future, if I'm looking on a timeline, I feel like it's going to be the same or better. So they are going to they're really attacking it really well. And there's actually using other tactics that aren't just making a house, because a lot of these people need addiction help, social services, and they have to be willing to. Again, with the kids that I met and helped, they don't want they want to be on the streets because they can control their environment. It's not safe, but it's the one thing they can control. So it's hard to push people into a facility or something where they lose control again. And it's kind of a hard thing. You think you want to be safer, but sometimes you're not in those shelters, those other large-scale homeless shelters. My experience has been your stuff gets stolen, fights, all kinds of, a lot of drug use and stuff. So super complex, like I said. In the future, I think it's funny. I feel like there's going to be at least in the not too distant future. It's just an acceptance of people living in that type of environment, either outside. I don't feel like it's going to change a ton. I feel like they're just coming up with strategies to manage it. The High Priestess. I think this is a difficult situation. If there's a lot behind the scenes, there's a lot of feelings, a lot of mystery. Kind of, I know that, and this High Priestess is also kind of secrets sometimes that you can't see. And I almost feel like it's the feminine, the feminine goddess, which I was talking to you about, the feminine warrior, the rise of the new feminine strength on the earth. That's and that part of this homeless thing. So it's home, security, mom, feeling safe. It's all about that. So as the rise of the greater feminine, Gaia, Earth Mother, it'll eventually get more and more addressed and solved, but not in the, we're still in this kind of male dominant world. Sorry, men out there. That's kind of what it is. All right, let's get started. I'm going to start off with Elon Musk because I think my last video had him. I looked into him, his energy, and that's very two-part person. Like this part of him is all computers and math and obsession about driven ideas that he wants to manifest. And this part is his humanness, which they don't connect. And he's a human being. It's living on this earth, but it's like, I feel like he has two halves of his brain. There's a space and it doesn't seem to go between. Somebody had asked if he was going to have an aneurysm, which is very interesting because of what I saw between his two parts of his brain. I don't feel an aneurysm. I do feel heart issues. I feel like there might be, I guess it could be an aneurysm, but it wouldn't be, because I think he's like a black belt or something. So I think he's pretty fit. But it feels like here, like heart or your artery. That's like John Ritter had that. I think it was his heart or his artery just boom went, and then he died. Died before he even knew anything happened to him. Not anytime soon. I'm not seeing that anytime soon with Elon Musk. And I'm not a doctor. I have no idea. I'm just, entertainment purposes only. This is what I'm seeing. I do feel like something may be here. Maybe it's just clogging or plaque. And maybe I'll have to have a open heart eventually, clean out the pipes kind of thing. Does he want to be president of the United States? Yeah, of course. Yes, and then he could get everything done and he wouldn't have to fight so hard for everything. And he didn't used to be as much as that, but because power and power and power and power, it fed this part, the obsessive computer brain part of him, that it increased that desire where he got validation. Yeah, so this is much more activated than the human part. Let's see. President. And he really, like I said before, he likes Trump because he thinks of it as a transaction. They both are feeding each other in the transaction world. The hermit. I think he lives in his own headspace, even though he's out in the world doing things and creating stuff. I think he has a whole world in here. I know he does. That he imagines all of the things that he could do if he just didn't have people fighting him on them, and he just likes yes man. He doesn't like to be questioned. He would be president, but that's not going to happen. He's emotional and he's got issues, and no. And I think if he did, he would be like, he wouldn't be Republican. He would come up with another party like independent, or maybe the MAGA type people would. No, I don't see them going for him. He'd like a business party or something conservative, like business model where it's only business focused. That's where I think he is going. Okay. Backing from Russia or Saudis when he bought Twitter, because it was like crazy $44 billion. And all his board approved because he got lots of money. Now it's X. Okay. So I'm Elon Musk. I'm in his energy. And I'm asking, did you get any money from Russia? Okay, let's Twitter. What happened between me and Twitter? He feels very strongly about free speech. He feels very strongly that people are limiting things, again, with the limiting and blocking. So he's trying to open up everything so he can speak, others can speak. He just doesn't understand why and what the purpose of blocking his goals is. Just he believes in what he believes and he thinks they're right. Okay, let's start with Russia. I don't see Russia giving him money. I think they're in communication, though. I think they have communicated in some way, Russian agents or Russian secret people. And he can do any of that on the sly because he has those, abilities with the computer's IT abilities that I'm sure he could hide things. So I think he actually was speaking to them. I don't think they gave him money. But I think they anticipate him getting more powerful. And I see that they will encourage that and talk about him in a positive way on Russian state television or media. And how smart and wonderful he is. And that's what they do. They lay the groundwork for decades, basically, to destroy the democratic process because it's messy. And they want to make it dissolve and destroy the idea. Yeah, I don't think he got any money from them, but they are talking to him. I don't know. I'll have to just wait and see what happens down the road. I think that's going to continue, actually. Whoever gets to be president, it's going to continue. Saudi Arabia. Oh, I see them giving him money. Huh. Interesting. Why? Why did they give you money? Promise some arrangement where would they get money back? Yeah, like they're going to get interest on the money, or they're going to have a stake in the company, but not in their name. It would be different. But definitely wow, I see them showing him money. What they would get from this transaction, it felt like he did borrow money or take money, and they also, like Russia, gets their little tentacles inside the American system. And but he was going to pay them back. And also maybe it was in exchange for some sort of technology or something too. So it was like a private deal, though. It wasn't like him as, whatever company his LLC is under. I don't know exactly. Or Twitter. But it was more just him privately. Yeah. Yeah. And he doesn't think it's a problem. I also see, I got this card. I got the 3 of Cups, which is friends having a good time, relaxing, drinking wine. But you see, I've seen this before as this, the crown of wreath of the laurel wreath as a success. But I also see, first time I've ever seen this is the Roman Emperor Julius Caesar. That's what I see. And I feel like Elon Musk is that. Maybe he was that in a past life. It's interesting. I've never thought of that before. But he's partying with his friends. He's made friends. Uh, so the next question was if Walz and Vance will actually debate. So far, it's scheduled for October 1st. The person had asked who is helping their president candidate more, Walz Harris or Vance Trump. I think Walz is helping Harris tremendously because sexist, but he's a guy. He's very comfortable with people, down to earth. And so when he meets with people, he gives them a sense of security about him because they recognize that in themselves, in them a little bit. Maybe not in her as much, but in him they do. So I think he's really helping their cause more than Vance is. Vance is doing Trump's work because he doesn't back down and he's continuing the lies and he doesn't let anything, he doesn't get corrected. He doesn't apologize for anything. He diverts the conversation to whatever they want. So he is helping. I don't think people like him like they like Trump. The old Trump voters, his base, but they're accepting of him. And the debate, I think, will be a loud fest, both yelling. I don't know if it's limited to 2 minutes or they cut off the mics kind of thing. I don't know if that was requested. But they're both, I think Coach Walz could be really loud. He can project as a coach and as a teacher. You can project. He is an emotional kind of guy because he's a fire sign. He's an Aries does he have a Leo moon? No, Mars is in Leo. I forget what his moon is in, but fire. And I need to look into Vance. So I'm going to look, okay, how is this debate going to go? I see Walz over here and Vance here, but of course it could be either way. Just in my mind's eye, that's where I see him. And the moderators aren't going to be as calm as the last debate. I feel like they're going to affect the answers a little bit more or affect the responses a little bit more. Like the last moderators were like kind of almost robotic, which was good, unemotional, answer questions, very journalistic, just this is what the answer is. No, you're not. This isn't true. That's not true. I think they might question both of their answers. I don't know which ones they'll question the validity of the answers or the truth or whatever they say. I see them both sweating. And actually, I see Walz getting very emotional, but then calming himself down. But Vance just amping up. And he feels like he's out of his depth. That's the feeling I get. There's a couple answers he doesn't know how. There's a couple questions he's going to fumble on the answers. Not answer them and go around. And then I also see Walz doing the same thing. I see Walz is bigger, but I'm not sure if that's just because he's a bigger guy. And he's got white hair, and Vance, I feel, is darker hair. 6 of Wands. There is a success. I almost feel like that's Vance, guys. Page of Wands. This is a lot of talking, communicating, and this, I think, might be Tim Walz is yelling. Or they're both yelling. Okay. Who's going to win? Let's just pull some cards. Let's see. Tim. Knight of Wands. Moving quickly. Taking it. This is a fire card. Being fierce and inspiring, creating, taking charge. Totally. And you notice for Tim, he's got both sons. So fire, yelling. Okay, Vance and the debate. Okay. Ooh, sorry. 3 of Swords. Won't be too happy. Disappointment and grief about. I think he thinks he's going to do really well. I think he's very confident he's going to succeed. But there's going to be some sadness about or frustration about what he didn't do or couldn't do. And how will people perceive this debate? How will it go from the American public who watch it? Oh, that's funny. It's the 2 of Cups. So it's the emotional satisfaction, partnership, love, not necessarily love, but it could be business relationship. But I also see the caduceus here, which is, the symbol for medicine and healing. I think it's going to help. Public sentiment, I think it'll be the same on both sides. They'll say, oh, he won, he won, he won, he won. So people will see it differently, obviously. With the Harris-Trump debate, it was pretty obvious, but I think it won't be as obvious this time. The moon, yeah, not obvious. The moon, nebulous, secretive. We don't know exactly what is real and what's not. Yeah, and we'll be slow to know what's the outcome. So I think they're both going to do fine. Vance thinks he's going to win, but he's going to be really disappointed in his actions or his responses. And Tim Walz is going to do his Tim Walz thing. Really good. I think the people who are going to watch it are going to go, I thought they both did good. I think it'll be different. Each one will have their different voice, different type of way in answering. It may affect some people's voting choices, but I think most people, if they like one or the other, they've already committed to them. I don't think it'll make a difference. I do think Vance will slip up, though, and say a few things that are going to be kind of not good. And Walz will, too. Honestly, I think that's going to happen, too. Yeah. A couple 5s. Big changes. 5 of Cups and 5 of Pentacles. So, yeah. They'll be like, I did this really good, and they'll be down about this other stuff. So, that's kind of a mixed bag. Yeah. I think the Democrats will say Walz did great, and I think Vance will probably put his foot in his mouth a little bit more. But I think Walz might get caught up in some, it won't be clear-headed about certain things and get caught up in some of the excitement and emotional stuff. I think that was it. Okay. Somebody had asked me about Iceland. I'll do that in the near future. In India. That's more of a global thing. Today was more U.S. focused. So you guys have a great rest of your week. And until next time.